Lisa Allen stood by the large window in her small office looking at the stars. She was not a special woman in many ways. At 62 years old, with gray hair always kept in a neat bun, she had spent most of her life teaching languages at a small college in Montana. Nothing in her quiet life had prepared her to become humanity's voice among the stars. Earth had joined the Galactic Council just 3 years ago. It was not because humans were seen as important. In fact, it was because of a mistake in paperwork that no one had bothered to fix. The other species thought humans were too young, too emotional, and too simple to matter much. Lisa sighed as she adjusted her plain blue uniform. It was time for another council meeting, another day of being ignored. "Ambassador, they're ready for you," said a voice behind her. Lisa turned to see her assistant, Jack. He was a young man with a kind face, who still believed that humans could make a difference in this vast galaxy. "Thank you, Jack. Let's not keep them waiting. They might notice we're late even if they never notice when we speak." Jack smiled sadly. He knew how the council treated the human ambassador. Together they walked through the curved hallways of the Confluence, the massive space station where 200 different species came together to govern the galaxy. Beings of all shapes moved around them. Some floated in bubbles of strange gas. Others crawled on many legs or slithered along the floor. A few were just clouds of light with voices that sounded like music. No one greeted Lisa as she passed. No, one even looked at her. Humans were too new, too unimportant. The council chamber was huge. The seats rose in circles higher and higher, like a giant bowl. Each seat held a representative from a different world. Some were small and needed special chairs. Others were so big they barely fit in their spaces. Lisa took her seat in the lowest ring, where the newest and least important members sat. Earth's spot was between a world of water-breathing hunters and a planet of beings made of living metal. At the very top sat the Vashni. They looked like walking crystals with bodies that sparkled in different colors when they moved. They had ruled the council for thousands of years. They believed they were perfect, beings of pure thinking with no messy feelings. High Conductor Zrix of the Vashni called the meeting to order. His voice was like ice cracking. "We will now discuss the distribution of medical supplies to the Outer Rim," he said. Lisa sat up straighter. This was what she had been waiting for. Human colonies in the Outer Rim were suffering from a strange sickness. They needed help, but for weeks, the council had ignored her requests. The meeting dragged. First, species after species talked about trade routes, ancient rites, and complex politics. No one mentioned the sick humans. It was as if they didn't exist. Finally, after 3 hours, Lisa was given her turn to speak. She had prepared a careful speech with facts and numbers, but as she stood, she saw the bored looks and turned backs. No one was going to listen anyway. And now, that moment something changed in Lisa. She put down her notes. "The human colonies are dying," she said simply. "While we talk, children are in pain. They need these medicines, that's all I have to say." High Conductor Zrix made a dismissive gesture with his crystal arm. "The human concerns are noted, but are of minor importance. The Vashni delegation sees no reason to divert resources to such a new species when others have greater needs." Lisa had heard this kind of answer too many times before. Always polite, always final. She started to sit down, defeated once again. Then she stopped. What if, just once, she didn't act like the perfect formal diplomat? What if she showed them something real? Lisa looked directly at High Conductor Zrix, and she smiled. It wasn't the small, polite smile she used in meetings. It was a real human smile that reached her eyes and showed her teeth. It was the smile of a woman thinking of her home, of spring mornings in Montana, of her grandchildren playing in the yard. It was warm and genuine and completely human. The me reaction was instant and shocking. High Conductor Zrix made a strange cracking sound. His crystal body shuddered. Then he fell forward, hitting the podium with a loud crash. Pieces of crystal scattered across the floor. The council erupted in chaos. Guards rushed in. Medical teams surrounded the fallen Vashni. Representatives shouted, in dozens of languages. In the confusion, no one noticed the water-breathing delegate next to Lisa. He was staring at her with his huge eyes, his breathing mask bubbling rapidly. Then he too collapsed. Then the metal being on her other side began to spark and shake. Across the chamber, representatives were falling or shaking or making strange noises. Some fled the room. Others seemed frozen in place. "Ambassador Allen." Jack was pulling at her arm. "We need to leave. Now." Lisa let herself be led away, stunned by what was happening. All she had done was smile. How could a smile cause such chaos? Guards escorted them back to the Earth Embassy section of the station. The halls were filled with running beings and loud alarms. Inside the embassy, Jack locked the doors. "What happened in there?" he asked, his face pale. "I don't know," Lisa said. "I just smiled." "Well, your smile just caused a diplomatic crisis. The emergency channels are going crazy. They're saying you attacked the council." "That's impossible. I didn't do anything." A screen on the wall lit up with an incoming message. It was from the council security force. "Ambassador Allen," said a being with 4 eyes and blue skin. "You are to remain in the Earth Embassy until further notice. You are being investigated for a biological attack on the council." The screen went dark. Lisa sank into a chair. "A biological attack?" With a smile. "I've called Dr. Grant from the science team," Jack said. "Maybe she can make sense of this." Lisa nodded, still trying to understand. Outside the window, ships were moving quickly around the station. Some were leaving in a hurry. Others were arriving with flashing lights, all because she had smiled. What kind of power had humans brought to the stars without even knowing it? And what would happen now that everyone knew? Lisa looked at her reflection in the dark screen. Her face seemed different now, dangerous in a way she had never imagined. She touched her lips gently, wondering what other human expressions might be hiding unexpected power. The day Earth's ambassador smiled had changed everything. But this was just the beginning. 3 hours had passed since the incident in the council chamber. Lisa Allen sat in the small meeting room of the Earth Embassy with Jack and Dr. Olivia Grant, the embassy's scientist who studied alien life forms. The room was simple, with just a table and a few chairs. On the walls, screens showed news from all over the station. None of it was good. "They're calling it an attack," Jack said, pointing to one screen. "Look at this. Human biological aggression leaves 17 species injured. They're saying we planned this." Lisa shook her head. "How could I plan something I don't even understand? All I did was smile." Dr. Grant had been quiet, working on her tablet computer and making calls to Earth. Now she looked up. Her eyes were wide with excitement. "I think I know what happened," she said. She put her tablet on the table. It showed pictures of brain scans. Some were human brains, others were alien. It's about how our brains work compared to theirs. Lisa and Jack moved closer to look. "Humans evolved as social creatures," Dr. Grant explained. "We need to understand what others are feeling, so our brains developed special cells called mirror neurons." Jack frowned. "What are mirror neurons?" "They're cells that fire both when we do something and when we see someone else do the same thing," Dr. Grant said. "When you see someone smile, the same parts of your brain light up as if you were smiling. It's how we understand each other's feelings. We literally feel a bit of what others feel." "And other species don't have this?" Lisa asked. "Some do, to different degrees, but many council species evolved in completely different ways. Some are alone most of their lives. Some are part of hive minds. Some communicate only through chemicals or math or light patterns. They never needed to feel what others feel." Dr. Grant showed a new image on her tablet. "This is a scan of a Vashni brain. See how simple these areas are? They have almost no mirror neuron networks. When you smiled, really smiled from genuine feeling, it was like their brains tried to process something they had no equipment for. Like trying to pick up a radio signal without a radio," Jack said. "Exactly." Dr. Grant nodded. "It caused a neural shock. Different species had different reactions based on how their brains work." Lisa felt cold. so I hurt them. Just by being human. Not on purpose, Dr. Grant said quickly. And not all species were affected. The ones most different from us had the strongest reactions. The ones more like us were fine or just felt strange. The door opened and a security officer came in. He was human but wore the uniform of the Galactic Security Force. Ambassador Allen, the Security Council wants to see you. Now. The Security Council was different from the main council. It handled emergencies and threats. Lisa had never been there before. The room was smaller and darker than the main chamber. Only 5 representatives sat at the table. One was a Vashni, but not High Conductor Drix. This one had darker crystals and looked older. Ambassador Allen, the Vashni said. His voice was cold. I am Elder Kryn. The Security Council has reviewed the incident. We have come to a decision. Lisa stood straight. With respect, Elder Kryn, I still don't understand what I did wrong. You displayed a biological feature that causes harm to other species, Elder Kryn said. Whether you knew its effects or not, it is still dangerous. A large, furry being that looked like a bear spoke next. The human emotional display seems to create a neural cascade in many species. It's like a virus jumping between different machines. A virus? Lisa said. I just smiled. It's a normal human expression. For you, perhaps, said another representative, who floated in a tank of green liquid. For many of us, it disrupts our neural patterns. High Conductor Drix is still being treated. 3 lesser species representatives are in even worse condition. Lisa felt sick. I'm deeply sorry. We never knew our expressions could have this effect. Elder Kryn leaned forward. The question now is what to do about it. Some council members want all humans removed from galactic space. Others suggest requiring suppression devices that block your emotional expressions. You can't punish an entire species for something they didn't know, Lisa said. And we can't stop being human. No, but you can learn control, Elder Kryn said. Until then, all human representatives will remain in their embassies. No human will be allowed in public areas without an emotional suppression field. Lisa wanted to argue, but she knew it would do no good. I understand. May I request that Dr. Grant be allowed to work with your medical teams? She might help find a solution. The council members looked at each other. Finally, Elder Kryn nodded. Approved, but under strict supervision. Back at the embassy, Lisa found dozens of messages waiting. Earth's government wanted to know what was happening. Human colonies were worried about being attacked, and the space station's news was showing protests against humans. It's getting bad out there, Jack said. Some species are demanding we be kicked out of the council. Others are defending us. Which ones are defending us? Lisa asked. Mostly the newer species, the ones that joined in the last few hundred years. The old powers, the Vashni, the Zrathians, the Meld, they're the most angry. Lisa thought about this. The older species have been in power for thousands of years. They've built everything around their way of thinking. Then we come along and show there's something they don't have, don't understand. And it scares them, Jack finished. Dr. Grant rushed into the room. I have something you need to see, she said. She connected her tablet to the big screen on the wall. The screen showed a medical room. High Conductor Drix lay on a bed, his crystal body connected to many machines. He seemed to be waking up. A medical worker leaned over him. High Conductor, can you hear me? Drix's voice was weak. Yes, what happened? You had a neural episode. Do you remember anything? Drix was quiet for a moment. I remember feeling something. When the human looked at me, I saw her happiness. Not just saw it, felt it. It was overwhelming, beautiful and terrible at once. Lisa gasped. He felt my smile, really felt it. Dr. Grant nodded. And that's not all. Look at his brain scans from before and after. The screen changed to show 2 images side by side. His neural pathways have changed. New connections have formed. It's as if the shock of your smile rewired parts of his brain. Is that bad? Jack asked. I don't think so, Dr. Grant said. It's just different. He now has the beginnings of something like our mirror neurons. He can feel a shadow of what others feel, Lisa sat down slowly. So I didn't just attack him. I changed him. Yes, Dr. Grant said. And that might be why the older species are so afraid. Human emotions aren't just shocking to them. They could fundamentally change how their brains work. The three humans looked at each other as they realized what this meant. Human emotions weren't just strange to aliens, they could transform them. Earth's place in the galaxy had just become much more complicated, and it had all started with a smile. News of what happened at the confluence spread quickly. Within 2 days, all human ships were ordered to stay where they were. No one could travel to or from Earth. Human diplomats on other worlds were kept in their embassies. The news screens were full of worried aliens talking about the human threat. Lisa spent those 2 days in endless meetings. She talked to Earth's leaders, explained what had happened, and tried to calm their fears. She also worked with Dr. Grant to understand more about how human emotions affected alien brains. On the 3rd day, Lisa was called to a special meeting on Earth. She and Jack took a small ship back to their home planet. As they left the space station, Lisa could see other ships keeping their distance. No one wanted to get too close to humans now. The meeting was held in a large building in Geneva, Switzerland. Important people from all over Earth had gathered: government leaders, scientists, military officers, and experts in alien life. Lisa told her story to the crowded room. "So our emotions are weapons?" asked General Harris, a serious man with short gray hair. "Not weapons," Lisa said. "Just something different, something many aliens have never felt before." Dr. Grant stepped forward. She had traveled with Lisa and brought all her research. Humans evolved in a way that made us very social. We need to understand what others are feeling to work together and build communities. Our brains developed tools for this that many alien species never needed. She showed pictures on a big screen. This is a human brain when seeing someone smile. These parts light up, showing we feel a bit of their happiness. Now here's the brain of a Vashni. They don't have these parts. When they saw Ambassador Allen smile, their brains tried to copy something they had no program for. An older woman named Dr. Martinez, a famous brain scientist, spoke next. "It's like trying to run new software on an old computer. It crashes the system. But what's interesting is that High Conductor Zrix's brain seems to be adapting. It's building new paths to process these feelings." General Harris frowned. "I still don't see why this has caused such panic. So we have emotions. Why are they so afraid?" Lisa thought about this. Imagine if you lived your whole life seeing only in black and white. Then suddenly someone shows you the color red. It might be shocking, even scary. But once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. You know there's more to the world than you thought. And the older species have built their power on being logical and unemotional, Jack added. They see emotions as primitive. Now they find out that emotions might be something they're missing, not something they've grown beyond. Dr. Grant nodded. Plus, the effects are strongest with genuine emotions. Fake diplomatic smiles didn't do this. Only when Ambassador Allen showed real, honest feeling did it trigger the reaction. A woman from the government spoke up. "So what do we do now? The Galactic Council is treating us like we have a disease. We need to show them we're not a threat," Lisa said. "Dr. Grant and I have been working on an idea. We think aliens can learn to handle human emotions if they're exposed slowly, in small amounts. Like building up an immunity?" someone asked. "More like learning a new language," Dr. Grant said. "Their brains need time to build new connections. We've been testing this with willing aliens at the embassy. Some species adapt quickly. Others take longer." Lisa stood up. "I want to go back to the council with this research. Show them that we can find a way forward together." General Harris shook his head. "That's risky. What if they decide it's easier to just keep humans away from everyone else, or worse?" "They need us," Lisa said simply. "We have something they lack. If we can help them understand emotions safely, it could change everything for both humans and aliens." The room was quiet as everyone thought about this. Finally, the president spoke. She was a tall woman with dark skin and a calm voice. "Ambassador Allen, do you believe this is the right path?" Lisa nodded. I do. Running away or hiding what makes us human won't help. We need to face this openly. Then that's what we'll do, the president said. But we'll be careful. Dr. Grant, I want you to put together a team of our best scientists to study this further. General Harris, prepare defensive measures just in case things go wrong. When the meeting ended, Lisa found Dr. Martinez waiting for her. Ambassador, there's something else you should know, the older woman said quietly. I've been studying the brain scans Dr. Grant brought back. And? Lisa asked. It's not just that aliens are affected by our emotions. Some of them seem to be changed by the experience. High Conductor Rix's brain is developing new neural paths similar to our mirror neurons. Lisa's eyes widened. You mean he's becoming more human-like? Not exactly, but he's developing the ability to feel what others feel. It's like his brain is evolving in fast motion. Is that dangerous for him? Dr. Martinez shook her head. I don't think so, but it changes who he is, and if it happens to others, then human contact could change entire species. Lisa finished. No wonder they're afraid. The next day, Lisa and Jack prepared to return to the confluence. Dr. Grant would stay on Earth a bit longer to work with her new team. Before they left, the president gave Lisa special permission to act on Earth's behalf. We trust your judgment, Ambassador, she said. Find a way for humans to join the galactic community without losing what makes us human. As their ship approached the space station, Lisa could see it was different now. Ships were grouped by species, staying away from each other. Guards floated near every entrance. They're scared, Jack said. Not just of us, but of each other. They don't know who might be affected or how. Lisa nodded. Fear makes everything worse. We need to show them there's another way. When they docked, they were met by security officers wearing special suits that covered their faces. Ambassador Allen, one said, the council is waiting for you. Lisa straightened her blue uniform and took a deep breath. What she said next could decide the future of humanity among the stars. And she knew one thing for sure. She would speak with honest human emotion, not hide it behind diplomatic words. Because in the end, it wasn't a weapon that had changed everything. It was just a smile. The council chamber looked very different now. Clear walls had been put up between the seats, separating each species from the others. Many representatives joined through video links instead of coming in person. Those who did attend wore special masks or shields over their faces. Lisa and Jack were led to Earth's spot by guards in protective suits. Lisa noticed that no one would look directly at her. They all turned away as if her eyes might hurt them. They're treating us like we have a disease, Jack whispered. Fear makes people act strangely, Lisa said. Even aliens. Elder Kryn of the Vashni called the meeting to order. His crystal body glittered under the lights as he spoke. We are here to discuss the human problem, he said. Our scientists have confirmed that human emotional displays can cause neural disruption in many species. We must decide what to do. A tall, thin alien with blue skin stood up. The humans should be banned from all council spaces. They are too dangerous to be among civilized beings. Many representatives made noises of agreement. Another alien, one looking like a large insect, clicked its mouthparts. Perhaps we could require all humans to wear emotion-suppressing devices at all times. More agreement followed. Lisa waited for her turn to speak. When it came, she walked slowly to the center of the room. She could feel everyone watching her nervously. Members of the council, she began, I understand your fear. Something happened that none of us expected, but I ask you to listen to what we have learned. She explained Dr. Grant's research about mirror neurons and how human brains were different. She described the tests they had done with willing aliens who had slowly gotten used to human emotions. We don't have to be afraid of each other, she said. We just need time to adjust. Humans can learn to control our expressions around sensitive species, and many of you can learn to handle our emotions in small doses. Elder Kryn made a dismissive gesture. This does not solve the problem. Even if some can adapt, others cannot. And why should we change? Humans are new to the galaxy. You should be the ones to change. Lisa took a deep breath. With respect, Elder Kryn, I don't think this is about who should change. It's about understanding each other better. She looked around the room. Have you ever wondered why the same arguments come up in the council year after year? Why we talk and talk but rarely understand each other? It's because we're missing a key part of communication. What part? Asked a representative who looked like a cloud of purple gas. Empathy, Lisa said. The ability to feel what another feels, to truly understand their position, not just hear their words. Elder Kryn's crystal body stiffened. The Vashni have ruled this council for 10,000 years without needing this empathy. Logic and reason are superior to emotion. A new voice spoke up. Are they? Everyone turned to see High Conductor Drix entering the chamber. He moved slowly, his crystal body looking slightly different than before. There were new patterns in it, new colors. High Conductor, Elder Kryn said, you should be resting. Your neural pathways are still healing. They are not healing, Drix said. They are changing, and I wish to speak about it. He moved to the center of the room, standing near Lisa. Everyone watched in silence. When the human smiled at me, I experienced something I cannot fully describe, Drix said. For the first time in my life, I felt another's joy. Not as information, to be processed, but as a real feeling inside me. He turned slowly, looking at all the representatives. It was overwhelming at first, painful even. But now that my brain has adjusted, I see things differently. I understand things I could not understand before. Elder Kryn made a sharp sound. This is why we must keep humans away. They are changing us without our consent. Change is not always bad, Drix said calmly. For 10,000 years, the Vashni have prided ourselves on being purely logical. We thought that made us superior. But now I wonder what we have been missing. A small furry alien spoke up. The Narani delegation has been working with human scientists. We have found that our species adapts quite easily to human emotions. In fact, they enhance our own communal bonds. Another representative, this one, floating in water, added, the Aquari have had similar experiences. After initial discomfort, exposure to human emotions has improved our understanding of each other and other species. Lisa felt hope growing. You see? Many species can adapt. Others might need more time or special protections, but we can find a way forward together. Elder Kryn was not convinced. This is too dangerous, too unpredictable. The old order has worked for thousands of years. We cannot risk changing it for one new species. But it hasn't worked for everyone, Jack said suddenly. Everyone looked at him in surprise. He hadn't spoken in the council before. What do you mean, human? Elder, Kryn demanded. Jack straightened his shoulders. The old order worked for the powerful species like the Vashni. But what about the newer members? The smaller worlds? How many times have their needs been ignored because they couldn't make the older species truly understand them? There was a murmur around the room, as many representatives nodded. Drix turned to Elder Kryn. He is right. We have ruled by logic and power, not by understanding. Perhaps it is time for a new approach. Elder Kryn's crystal body flashed with angry colors. You have been corrupted by human influence. This is exactly why they are dangerous. Or perhaps I have been expanded by it, Drix replied. I am still Vashni. I still value logic and reason. But now I can also sense what others feel, and it makes my understanding more complete. The debate continued for hours. Some species strongly supported keeping humans isolated. Others were curious and wanted to learn more. A few, like the Narani, actively defended humans. Finally, a compromise was proposed. Humans would be allowed in council spaces, but with special training and emotional control. Aliens who were sensitive to human emotions could wear protective gear or join meetings through video links. Most importantly, a new research center would be created where humans and aliens could study this phenomenon together. As the meeting ended, Lisa felt tired but hopeful. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. High Conductor Drix approached her as she was leaving. Ambassador Allen, he said, I wish to thank you. For what? Lisa asked. I caused you pain and started all this trouble. Zrix's crystal body shimmered with new colors. You showed me a new way of experiencing the universe. It was unexpected and difficult at first, but I believe it will make me a better leader and the council a better place. He hesitated, then added, Would you show me that expression again? The one from before? I am better prepared now. Lisa looked at him carefully. Are you sure? Yes, I wish to understand. Slowly, Lisa smiled. A real smile, warm and genuine. Zrix didn't fall this time. He stood still, his crystal body glowing with changing colors. Remarkable, he said finally. I can feel an echo of your happiness. It is beautiful. As Lisa and Jack walked back to the Earth Embassy, Jack grinned. Who would have thought? The most powerful weapon humans brought to the stars was a smile. Lisa shook her head. Not a weapon, Jack. A bridge. 1 year had passed since the day Lisa Allen smiled in the council chamber. Much had changed in that time. The space station known as the Confluence looked different now. The clear walls between species were gone, replaced by colored lights that showed which areas were safe for different beings. Some places had signs that said, Human Emotion Zone, where humans could express themselves freely. Other areas were marked Neutral Expression Only, where humans practice keeping their faces calm. Lisa walked through the halls, noticing how aliens no longer turned away when they saw her. Some even nodded in greeting. A few of the species that had adapted well to human emotions would smile back in their own ways. Today was an important day. The council was voting on a new proposal, one that Lisa had worked on for months with High Conductor Zrix and representatives from 12 other species. Nervous? Jack asked as they approached the council chamber. A little, Lisa admitted. This could change everything. The chamber was nearly full. Unlike a year ago, most representatives attended in person now. Many wore special glasses or small devices on their heads that helped their brains process human expressions safely. They had learned that technology could bridge the gap while their brains slowly adapted. High Conductor Zrix called the meeting to order. His crystal body had permanent new patterns now, swirls of color that hadn't been there before. The scientist said his brain had developed new neural pathways, forever changed by his exposure to human emotions. Today we vote on the emotional understanding protocol, Zrix announced. Ambassador Allen will present the proposal. Lisa walked to the center of the room. She wore a small device on her collar that would dampen her expressions slightly for those species still sensitive to them. It was a compromise she had accepted, a way to show respect for others while still being human. Members of the council, she began. A year ago I stood in this room and smiled. No one knew what would happen next. We were afraid, confused, and divided. But look at us now. She gestured around the chamber. We have learned from each other. Humans have learned to control our expressions when needed. Many of you have learned to process our emotions safely, and in that learning we have all grown. She touched a control, and a large display appeared above the chamber. It showed images of humans and aliens working together in new ways. The research center we created has made amazing discoveries, Lisa continued. We now know that 17 species can develop mirror neurons similar to humans when gradually exposed to emotions. 34 other species can use technology to help them understand emotions. And yes, some species will always need protection from direct human expression. We respect that difference. She showed more images. Children from Earth playing with young aliens. Diplomats from different worlds learning to read each other's feelings. Scientists studying brain patterns together. But the most important discovery was this, Lisa said. When species learn to understand each other's emotions, they make better decisions together. The trade agreements we've completed this year have been more fair to all worlds. The aid we sent to struggling planets has been more effective because we truly understood their needs. High Conductor Zrix stepped forward. I can confirm this. Since developing the ability to sense emotions, I have become a more effective leader. I can now understand not just what others say, but what they truly mean. It has changed how I see the universe. Elder Kryn, who had opposed humans from the beginning, spoke next. Not all change is good. The Vashni have led this council for 10,000 years using pure logic. Now you want us all to become emotional like humans? Not at all, Lisa said. We don't want anyone to stop being who they are. Vashni logic is valuable. Zarathian precision is valuable. Nirani community bonds are valuable. And yes, human emotion is valuable too. We each bring something different. A representative who looked like a giant flower unfurled its petals. My species was once ignored in this council. We speak through scent and color, not words. But since working with humans, more species understand us. We support this protocol. More representatives spoke, some for and some against. The debate was respectful but intense. Finally, it was time to vote. The proposal has passed, Zrix announced when the votes were counted. The Emotional Understanding Protocol is now official council policy. Lisa felt a wave of relief and joy. Jack squeezed her arm in celebration. After the meeting, Lisa met with Dr. Grant, who had come from Earth for the vote. They walked to a viewing area where they could see the stars and the ships moving around the station. Did you ever think it would turn out like this? Dr. Grant asked. When you first smiled that day? Lisa shook her head. Never. I was just tired of being ignored. I had no idea what would happen. You've changed the galaxy, Dr. Grant said. Not with weapons or technology, but with something uniquely human. Not just me, Lisa said. It took all of us working together. Humans and aliens. They watched as a large ship arrived at the station. It was from a species called the Elcor, who had been invited to join the council. They were a race of beings who lived in gas giants and communicated through gravitational pulses. Once they would have been too different to join. Now with new understanding and technology, they could be welcomed. Lisa saw High Conductor Zrix approaching. He moved differently than he had a year ago, with more fluid motions. His crystal body reflected the starlight in rainbow patterns. Ambassador Allen, he said, the Elcor delegation wishes to meet you. They have heard the story of the human who smiled and changed the council. I'll be happy to meet them, Lisa said. But I hope they know it wasn't just my smile that changed things. It was how we all responded to it. Zrix's body glowed with warm colors. Yes, we could have chosen fear and separation. Instead, we chose understanding and growth. Together, they walked to meet the new arrivals. Lisa noticed that many other representatives were joining them, from species that once would never have mixed with each other. As they walked, Lisa thought about that day a year ago when her smile had exposed a vulnerability in so many species. At the time, it had seemed like a disaster. Now she saw it had been an opportunity. Sometimes being vulnerable was the first step toward becoming stronger. She smiled at the thought, a genuine, warm, human smile. This time, no one collapsed. Some couldn't see it. Some wore devices to help them process it, and some, like Zrix, smiled back in their own ways. It wasn't a perfect galaxy. There were still problems to solve, conflicts to resolve. But now they faced them together, with both logic and emotion, with both thought and feeling. Each species brought their own strengths, and together they were finding a new way forward among the stars. All because one day, Earth's ambassador smiled.